Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanna Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 291, season 12. Today's date is December 30th, 2023, and welcome to the program. And this is the last show of the year. I'm very excited. And on today's program, I will do my year in review for 2023 on my Vanna Chicagoland Facebook page. That should be very interesting. I'm going down to each month of the year, which are the most popular posts based on impressions of that. And also I'll do a tribute to Tom Smothers, one half of the comedy duo and folk singers, the Smothers Brothers. I'll talk about my memories of watching him on TV. And so this will be very exciting. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante. This commercial is from 1977. I remember this one very vividly, and I still remember it. I don't know why. And so just sit back and relax, and when I come back, I'll explain about this lovely product. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
You brought home champagne.
No, it's Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante.
It's imported champagne.
It's imported Asti Spumante.
It's delicious champagne.
It's delicious Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante.
It's really delicious champagne.
It's delicious Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante. Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 45% off select styles, plus a professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante. Guy keep telling his wife, it's not champagne. Okay. Do you get it? So this commercial is from 1977. The product is still around. And it was founded in Turin, Italy in 1863 by... The people were Alessandro Martini and Luigi Rossi. Their headquarters, it was in Turin, Italy, but it's also Pescioni. I don't know. The Italian's bad. Anyway, so they make other drinks. Were the other commercials like remember in the 70s with Angie Dickinson, played policewoman. She said, they did Martini and Rossi on the rocks. Say yes. Yeah, she was. They also made a brand of vermouth, like that. You know what? Every New Year's Eve, I always drink this, the Asti Spumante. That is, I like it a lot. I like champagne. That's the only. I don't particularly like wine. Like red wine, white wine. I don't know what it is. It tastes funny to me. So I always have champagne, and there's something about it. I'm not. I have always said I'm a seldom drinker. I don't drink much. I mean, if I go out with my friends or or go to an event, I might have a beer or something like that. I like Greek beer. I really do. I love it. American beer, not so much. Last time I had it, I had dinner with my friends. We had it at a Greek restaurant, and I ordered Greek beer. I tried Mythos for the first time. It was very good. Why not? I try not to do because I'm on medication, so I got to be careful with that. Okay. Before I get started, I'm gonna on the show. I'm gonna talk about a couple things. One, uh, health wise, I'm doing okay. I've been kind of tired all week. I posted this yesterday on my Facebook page and on my profile that I feel fatigued. That's due to the medications, especially the Xandy. They make you tired, they make you sweat. I do sweat a little bit, but the fatigue comes, and I just lie down most of the day, and it's terrible. You can't do anything. You know, and I used to walk around, or do my walking, but it's been cold, so it hasn't been easy, and I just feel just worn out. So I just lie down and just rest. That's very important. Um, let's see what else. And the second thing I want to tell you is yesterday I found out that former DePaul basketball coach Joey Meyer passed away. And that was a complete shock. I used to see him in the 1980s. He was coaching DePaul. And so let me give you a brief history about him. He was born April 2nd, 1949 in Chicago. And he played DePaul. He was a guard from 1968 to 1971. And because, of course, his father was the coach, and he coached from DePaul from 1942 to 1984, and he won 724 games. That's a lot. I don't know. That man had a magic touch or something. He seemed like a nice man. Anyway, so Joey Meyer assisted his father uh, for 10 years. From starting from 1974 until when Ray Meyer passed away. And then he took over, and he coached for about 13 years from 1984 to 1997. And then he coached at other teams. Won the Chicago Skyliners for 1 year. Then the Asheville Attitude. That was I think that's North Carolina. That's for 4 years. Then 2 years in Tulsa. And then in 3 years in Fort Wayne. He did that. And after that, he was on WGN radio. He did radio broadcasts of Northwestern University's basketball games. I don't know how long he did that. It was also commentary. So I didn't hear. I don't watch basketball, but I didn't know he was on the radio. So. And so I'm sure he was, funny, and he knew what he was talking about, because he grew up, in basketball because of his dad, and he liked the game and all that. So that's great. And when his death was announced yesterday, it was very sad, and a lot of people in the sports field, in the media and also at DePaul were very saddened by it. So that's a shame. It really is. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I said I was going to do my year in review for 2023 for my Vanna Chicagoland Facebook page, and also I'll talk about Tom Smothers, of one half of the Smothers brothers. So I'm going to get that out of the way. and then I'll do my year in review. Okay. So the Smothers Brothers were a comedy duo. Also, they were folk singers, And so you have Tommy Smothers, and then you have Dick Smothers. Dick Smothers played the double bass, and Tommy played the acoustic guitar. And first they sang, and then they did some comedy bits. And Tom Smothers appeared like kind of dense, kind of dumb, like that. But he was a very brilliant man. He was very smart, like that. And they did this comedy act, and they were born in New York on Governor's Island, and then they moved to California. They also recorded comedy albums as well. Then, of course, we all know them from their TV shows. One is the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour that started in the late 1960s, which was very, very interesting and very popular, but it was very controversial. Before that, they started in a sitcom called the Smothers Brothers Show. And I remember seeing this on Nick at Night, the reruns in the 1980s, and I watched it. It was pretty good. And according to the brothers, they didn't like doing it. They didn't act like brothers. They were just it was just a sitcom, and they wanted to do something better, but it got them exposure. And and then later on, they started their variety show, and they changed it to the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. And what's funny? Because they had the great writers in the show, and also guest cast. Also, they brought like, for example, regular performers. They had Steve Martin, Don Novello, which he played Father Guido Sarducci, Rob Reiner from All in the Family, and let's see, Bob Einstein for Super Dave, Albert Brooks, and there was a woman named Lee French, or is it Lee French? Lee French, I think. Also, they had pop singer Jennifer Warren. Warren's, she sang "It's the Right Time of Night." Remember that song? And there was a guy on the show. He was a singer. His name was Mason Williams, and he had that hit record "Classical Gas," and it was instrumental. And he was a head writer of the show, like that. What's so great about this show is they had a lot of musical guest stars, and they like, for example, they had Joan Baez, Buffalo Springfield, Cass Elliot, Halle Belafonte, Cream, Donovan, Glenn Campbell, Jefferson Airplane, Spanking Our Gang, you name it, Simon and Garfunkel, the Hollies, and the Who. The Who. That was a controversy where Pete Townsend was smashing his guitar. That was crazy, like that. And then it got a little political, and they were censored by CBS. That's when the show aired on Channel 2, WBMTV in Chicago. And let's see what else. So the one who was really like most outspoken was Tom. He was very they talk about racism. They talk about the president of the United States, which was Nixon at the time, or before that it was Lyndon B. Johnson, and then it was Nixon. They talk about Vietnam War, and then it was just, it was tough. And they fought with these censors and the head of the network, and it was just a mess like that. I can imagine the stress level of doing that show like that. So then the show got canceled in 1969, and they continued to perform, probably on stage or in Las Vegas or any concert venues. They could, yeah, and they were very popular, and they're famous. And Dick was the straight man, and Tom was the dummy, just like Rowan and Martin. And Tommy's signature line was, "Mom always liked you best." That always makes me laugh, and that it's like when they performed a comedy bit, they would lead to an argument, and then it was just it was hilarious like that. Anyway, Tom Smothers was also, if you remember, he was a great yo-yo player. He had the yo-yos, and he must have been practicing since he was a child like that, and it was great like that. And he was performing tricks with the yo-yo, and his name was the Yo-Yo Man. So yeah, I've seen that on television, and he was wonderful. I couldn't do something like that. No way like that. He appeared in movies and television without his brother, but the brothers still play. They were together most of the time like that, and then he retired, and then they resumed performing until it was announced he was sick. He had lung cancer. Then for some reason they had a 20th anniversary on Channel 2, CBS. It was like the 20th anniversary of Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, and I watched it, and it was great. I loved it. I really did. When the show was originally aired in the late 60s, I saw glimpses of it, little bit, in color. Well, it was black and white when I saw the show, but then I started watching the 20th. It became a huge hit, big ratings, and then they made more specials, and it was wonderful. The show is on DVD. I don't think all the episodes. I think it's the very best, and you can still buy them, at Amazon or eBay if you'd like, if you're a huge fan of theirs. Okay. So right now I'm going to play a commercial that features the Smothers Brothers. Excuse me. This is from 1988. It's for Magnavox TV. Yeah, whatever happened to that? So here is the Smothers Brothers in a TV commercial from 1988 from Magnavox TV. And when I come back, I'll talk about the year in review, folks. Okay, so thank you, everyone.
When it comes to making a serious decision, my brother Tom is a lot smarter than he appears to be. Like most thinking Americans, Tom is looking for a contemporary, innovative leader. A leader with quality he can believe in. A leader he can trust. Now, he has looked at a lot of television, listened to claims from all sides. And after careful consideration, Tom has made the smart choice. And that choice is Magnavox. The sign.
Magnavox. Smart choice. Very smart.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial with the Smothers Brothers doing Magnavox TV. Talk a little bit about Magnavox. It was founded in 1917 in Napa, California. The man's name was Edwin Pridham. And their headquarters right now was in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't know. It's been changed hands over the years, but but it was very innovative kind of company at the time. They were introduced the first video game console, which is the Odyssey. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, I'll talk about that one day. And it was very successful, like that. Also, in the late '70s and early '80s, it developed laser disc technology. You know, the laser disc, the big, huge. It's like a DVD. It's like very large, and they had a laser disc player. Somehow it didn't take off like the DVDs later on in the late '90s. And these are very collectible, and and you do find them. I went to a record store day after Thanksgiving, and I found them on the shelves, and they had laser discs, and I was going through. It was wonderful reading on the front and the back and the laser discs. I didn't take them out. I was scared, and they were about 12 inches. So this is before the CD, the compact discs came, and they were invented by Sony. Then Magnavox sort of went away. I mean, they made television sets. Let's see what else. They merged with. I forgot where they merged. Sorry, like that. And so I think with Philips and all that. But never mind. Oh yeah, they merged with Sylvania, Philco, and Magnavox in one headquarters. Okay, so remember Philco? They used to make early televisions. Sylvania, they made TVs, but they made cameras. Like that. Remember cameras? With film, like that. So I think I have owned a Magnavox TV in the past, probably when I was living in Ashburn in the '70s. I think at one time or another, they were good TVs. Yeah. And my brother had one when he moved out, out of Chicago. He had a Magnavox TV, I think, or was it RCA? I think he had a Magnavox. I'm not sure. So I have to ask him. So that's it's a shame. So they're sort of in business in a way, but it's it's under another name, and they make other products, so it's confusing. It's like Zenith, because Zenith's gone, and it's like I don't know. We'll see about that. I'll talk about Zenith someday. All right. Right now, I'm going to talk about my year in review for 2023. This is exciting. Very exciting. So let's get started with that. Shouldn't waste time. I'm going to start with January. And January, this is the most popular post based on impressions on my Van Chicagoland Facebook page. So January, this post was the 56th anniversary of the 1967 blizzard that happened in Chicago. And it's still talked about to this day. People in Chicago have never forgotten about it. And it was a photo of a mother and a child. They were standing on Sheridan Road on the north side of Chicago, and there was a CTA bus. And this photo was in color, and the impressions were 745,747. So that's the number. So that's a lot. A lot of people saw that. So it was very popular. And whenever you put, it seems like when I post something about the 1967 blizzard, it's just, people remember where they were when it happened. But I've explained this in a podcast episode also on my Facebook page, a long story about it. Remember little of it. Okay. Next up, in February, this one is the Silver Flash roller coaster, or it's called the Flash, in Riverview Park. This one had 288,938 impressions. It was one of the most popular roller coasters in Riverview. Not like the Bobs or the Fireball or otherwise like the flying turns, or the shoots like that. Many other, Riverview has so many, but this was a cool photo that I found. And people loved that ride. They really did. They enjoyed it, back in the day. Okay, in March, we have a picture. I borrowed this from somebody, and I credited this. This was a photo of Prince Castle's Hamburgers in Oakland, Illinois, on 95th Street. And this had 514,793 impressions. And it was a cool photo. This is like from the 50s, late 50s, and it was beautiful, and, to tell you the truth, I never eaten there. I wish I did, and I heard the hamburgers were great. The ice cream was awesome. And later on they turned into Cock Robin. I didn't go there either. And they had a lot of locations, but at that time it was wonderful. It really was. Okay, in April, I posted a photo of the Dan Ryan Expressway, and what's so great about this photo, it had the Magic Kiss sign, which was located on like 85th Street. And whenever you're driving on the Dan Ryan or any other expressways like the Eisenhower, the Kennedy, you will see those big red lips, and you see the sign, and you see the lips kissing. They pucker up like that. That was like an indication that you knew where you were on the expressways. So, and where you're going to turn off, and on the exit, or you enter, you would see those lips, and it was awesome. But they're gone now, so that's a shame. I don't know what they did with the signs. I think one guy had one. I saw this on the internet. He bought it at auction. I don't know if he still has it, but it's kind of cool. That's a great keepsake like that. That should be in a museum. It really should be, because Magic Kiss was a great company. They did cleaning rugs and carpets. So. All right, and then in May, I posted an ad for Maurice Lunell cookies. This is from May 6, 1963. It had 159,944. Oh, I forgot to mention, in April of the Magic Kiss, the impressions were 329,010. So that's how popular it was. Okay. Getting back to Maurice Lunell cookies. It was an ad from May 6, 1963. It was just a newspaper ad, nothing special. It had 150,944 impressions. Of course, we all miss these cookies. The pinwheels, the chocolate chip, the stars, butterscotch. The factory was up in Norwich, Illinois, or is it Chicago? I think. I keep forgetting. But when you drove by, you could smell them, or you see the little boy in the cookie jar. It's from that place. You used to see them at Jewel, Dominic's, all the time. And when I used to work at American Express Travel, somebody brought them one time, or at other offices I worked at, they bring the pinwheels. Oh, I love the pinwheels. They were the best, with the raspberry coating on the edge of it. That was good. All right, in June, I had a picture of the last streetcar in Chicago. Yeah, and it was, I think it was the Clark route, or is it the Broadway route? I forgot. And they had 151,119 impressions. I think that ended in 1958. They had buses. They introduced buses in the late 40s. And then, so they had buses and streetcars together, and then they got rid of the streetcars. I never rode a streetcar. Not in Chicago. No, I wasn't born yet. I've ridden a trolley in San Francisco. I don't know if that counts. When I visited there, and that was fun. I liked that. Going down the hill, like that, singing the Rice-A-Roni song. So that was fun, like that. So streetcars were very fast. clean, and they zip, and you enter from the back, not from the front. Because like that, and I think you exit from the front, but I think you enter from the back, I believe, like that. And there was a conductor. I think there was a conductor on the streetcars. I'm not sure. Of course, there was a driver. He couldn't have taken the tickets. So there must have been a conductor there. And that was the Chicago Surface Lines, and then it turned into the CTA later on. Okay. In July, I posted about the death of Dick Biondi, that legendary disc jockey. The impressions were 126,910. When his death was announced, there was very complete sadness. They loved listening to the man in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. He was wonderful. It's that voice. And singing that song, On Top of a Pizza, all covered with cheese. He was great. I used to listen to him on Magic 104. I didn't listen to him in the 70s much because I didn't listen to WCFL or other stations he was on, but it was Magic 104. I listened to him in the 80s, and he was great. He was wonderful. Okay, and they're going to make a document. I think they did make a documentary, or they're going to. That should be fascinating. I think it's made already. I think so. I would love to see it. I really would. I'll find out. Of course, in August, this had 225,544 impressions. It was the Bob's roller coaster in Riverview. Oh, why not? It was one of the most popular roller coasters in Riverview, and at that time, people still talk about it. They loved that roller coaster. It was crazy. It was a crazy ride, and it was scary. It was fun. It was thrilling and unforgettable. There've been other roller coasters, at Riverview and other theme parks, like Six Flags, Great America, and all over the country. But the Bob's was the best. Okay. In September, I posted a photo of the grand opening of the Jewel Grand Bazaar grocery store that was located at 54th Street in South Pulaski. And this one had 569,195 impressions. I went to that once, a long time ago, when I was a teenager. And it was like a huge jewel, big jewel. And they had more products, a little more variety, maybe international. And the other stores opened. I think one was in North Avenue on the west side, Cicero, I think. No, Cicero or Pulaski, somewhere around there. Also on the Dan Ryan at 87th Street. Also on 95th Street in Pulaski down the street. They got rid of them like maybe the late 70s or early 80s, and now they're regular jewels. The one on 95th Street in Pulaski, I went a couple times. It's a little out of my way. Now it's just a regular jewel. Nothing big. It's just a regular jewel. Like that. Still functioning as a jewel. But it was a huge deal when they had that grand opening at the time. Okay. In October, I posted a photo of the Lord and Taylor department store in Woodfield Mall in Schaumburg. It happened on October 1st, 1973. It had 173,294 impressions. And Woodfield was just opening. It opened a couple of years prior. And it was a very elegant store. They had clothes and perfume and very nice things they had. Very nice. Over the years, it had opened in Water Tower Place, I don't know, in Skokie, in Old Orchard, I think. And in Oak Brook Center in Oak Brook, Illinois. And now they're gone. Last I heard, they had a few in New York. I think the clothes, I think they're online, maybe. I don't know. I visited once or twice, very chic. Very chic indeed. We need that back. We need that back in the stores. Okay, and in November, we had another attraction at Riverview Park. It was Aladdin's Castle, and it was the entrance, and it was like that crazy house, like that. And you see the Aladdin with his eyes moving back and forth. What's so interesting about this was in color, and they had impressions of 174,438. That's so. When you go to the entrance at Riverview, I think that's the first thing you saw. When you entered the park, and some people were fascinated, other people were frightened of it. Maybe kids, women, guys, anybody really. But it wasn't real. No, it wasn't real. I wonder what they did with that sign. Yeah, I often wonder. And last but not least, we have in December the Service Merchandise Store that was located at Deerbrook Mall in Deerfield, Illinois. And the number of impressions that was 316,347. Now, Service Merchandise, I'm the one that I visited was at 87th Street in Cicero in Oak Lawn. I used to go there all the time. I talked about this on a previous podcast episode. When you had the conveyor belts, you would order something, you get like a number on a pad or something like that, and you would go there to an area where they have the conveyor belts, and the items that you order will come down to that, and you will pick it up. I think you pay. Of course, you would pay first, and then do that, whatever, cash or credit. Like that, so it was very innovative at the time. It was in business for a long time. The Christmas catalogs were beautiful. That was a beautiful time. Christmas time was great to buy. Also, they had a wonderful jewelry section and electronics. I remember that. The jewelry section was beautiful. All those lovely diamonds like that, and the latest electronic games. At the time when I was growing up was Atari and all that. And my favorite with the catalogs, you go through and I'm looking forward to the toys, and I get excited like that. Okay. So that's it for the list for 2023 for Vanish Chicagoland. Oh, that was fun. So that's it for this program. I will publish it later on today. It'll be available where podcasts are, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Breaker, Overcast. Also will be published on my blog, vanishchicagoland.blog. Also, it'll be on my YouTube channel. People always ask me, where do I find your podcast? Where's your podcast? It's on my YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. You'll get a notification for the latest episodes. Also the same thing for the apps. You can follow them. You'll get a new episode. And you can listen to previous episodes if you like, you have time. Also, be shared on my social media accounts, Facebook, X, Reddit, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Threads. Yeah. So Threads is getting big. It's getting big. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of followers. It's amazing. I remember when it first introduced, it's like, wow. Then it just went down, and now it's back again. So that's great. It's wonderful. It's like Facebook's own, it's Meta's version of Twitter. That's what it was. What it is, excuse me. Okay. So I will not do a podcast tomorrow. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I will do one next Tuesday, which will be the first one of 2024. I'm excited. All right. So this is Pico Stanish, your host for Vanish Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. Today's kind of gray and cold. It's been like that all month. And no snow. I think the last time we had snow was, I don't know, Halloween or something like that. We'll see. The New Year's for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day will be just kind of drab, nothing exciting. Okay, for New Year's Eve, I'm just going to stay home. That's all I'm going to do. Just very relaxing. Okay, so thank you for joining me for this for this episode. What a way to close out the year. Yeah, I had a great time. And so here's Ray Rayner with a little traveling music saying bye, bye, bye. And here's bye, bye for me. Take care, everyone, and Happy New Year. And I hope you have a healthy, happy New Year. Bye, bye, everyone.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.